Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today I have a video for you about how to stop your self-sabotaging voice. So this is going to be a prequel to my 3-part series on how to live as your higher self, which is going to be coming out the next 2 videos. But I really want you to stop and pay attention and really get kind of this concept in your mind and in your consciousness, and to start to become aware of this self-sabotaging voice and how to handle it, because it is basically going to be the foundation for what you need in order to do the 3 steps that will help you live as your higher self. So that's why I'm starting with this video, and why I'm saying don't watch the other videos until you watch this video, and I'm going to say that in all the other videos, because learning how to deal with this self-sabotaging voice that you have, that I have, that we all have, is the key. It is like I say, well, it's the foundation for living as your higher self. So it is the foundation for being happy. It is the foundation for living as you just free and sovereign, and it's the foundation for you being able to express yourself how you know yourself to be, and not who you think you should be, or blah 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 blah. It's just really important, okay? So that's why I want to cover this today, and so I really want you to take this, apply the things that I'm saying, really dig in, because the more you apply this instead of just listening to it, the more you apply it, the more it's going to work for you, the more you're going to set yourself free, okay? So that's what this is about. So, everybody on this planet who evolved as a human, which I'm pretty sure is everybody, but maybe, I don't know, maybe not, but essentially probably you, if you're watching this video, you have a part of your brain that is called the reptilian brain. And it is 100% designed for your survival. Okay, so now I believe we have a little bit, again, of a primitive understanding of this primitive part of our brain, and that's why the techniques that I'm going to give you may be a little different than what you've heard before about your reptilian brain, because remembering that absolutely every single thing about you is divine, okay? So it's not like you have this higher self, this higher knowing, this higher wisdom, this expanded view that's all God and all divine and helping you live as your higher self, and then there's this part of you that's this little lizard brain that is caught in fear, that is just going to be a thorn in your side for the rest of your life, that you'll just have to fight or deal with. It's no, the lizard part of your brain is an essential part of your nature, okay? And when we learn how to handle it, and how to integrate it, and how to love it, and how to listen to it, okay? When we start to bring the lizard brain back into the light of consciousness, right? It's no longer going to be a self-sabotager, and it's going to start to be a part of your intuition, okay? That's what's going to happen. And I know that there are lots of people out there that are going to say, no, the lizard part of your brain is just the primitive part, and it just doesn't know what it's doing, and it's just stuck in survival, and it was developing when we were surviving and when we were all afraid, so it's just broken. But I don't believe that. There's no part of you that's broken, and this is a technique for you to help yourself love your lizard brain back into its fullest capacity as something that serves to keep you on your path. Okay, that's what it is. That's what survival really is. Okay, survival is not, especially in today's world, especially if you're watching this video, is not really about keeping your body alive, okay? Because if that's really what your survival brain was doing, it wouldn't freak out when your boss yells at you. It wouldn't behave the way it's behaving, okay? If it really were just that innocent, just trying to keep you alive, it wouldn't be activated in times when your survival really truly isn't threatened, okay? The reason that it's activated in times when your survival really truly isn't threatened, but it kind of looks like maybe it could be, and we can kind of say, well, if I got, if my friends don't like me, I get kicked out of the tribe, and it's a past life memory, or, I get kicked out of the tribe, and that's a survival thing from past lives, and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, that doesn't really make sense, okay? We really got to start to look at it this is a part of your brain that's trying to help you, and it's been misunderstood just like every other part of your shadow, okay? So, when you are about to make a change in your life, okay? So when you have decided, you know, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or I want to become this person, or I want to become that person, or I want to do, right, like I want to start eating better, I want to start exercising, I want to start communicating differently, I want to start doing this, I want to start doing that, blah, 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 right? There's going to be a cycle that happens where in the beginning you get all excited about it, right? And you get this vision and you see how it's going to help you, and you really understand that it's like, yeah, that's totally going to work for me, and I want to do that, and I can see the benefit in it, and staying stuck in this is just hurting me, so let's move forward, right? And then you start to go along on it, and for a little while you have some motivation, you got some steam, maybe for a long period of time, maybe for a short period of time, you like feel like you can do it, and da-da-da-da-da, and then all of a sudden, these old thoughts start coming back, right? These old self-sabotaging thoughts start coming back, the ones that kept you in your self-sabotaging behavior in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so you're gonna be in your self-sabotaging behavior, and you're gonna have the thoughts that kind of go with that, right? Like you don't eat well, and you have the whole like self-sabotaging cycle of I'm gonna start my diet today, and then as soon as you get to work, there's candy at the office, and then you fight with yourself all day to eat the candy, and you eat the candy, and then you're like, well, fuck it, I already ate the candy, I may as well eat the pizza, and then you eat the pizza, and then you hate yourself, and then you decide you're gonna, you feel sick all night, and then you make a resolution that you're gonna be different in the morning, and then the whole cycle starts again, right? And then, like I say, one day you have a click, and you're like, you know what, no, I'm not gonna do this. And you start to get on a new pattern, right? Like something clicks, and you're just like, I'm gonna eat breakfast, I'm gonna eat a healthy breakfast, and that's gonna help me not wanna eat the candy, and like something shifts inside of you, right? And then you go along, and then all of a sudden, you're going along in your new pattern, and then one day, that self-sabotaging voice comes back. This is what I'm saying, right? And it like catches you off guard, right? And you're like, oh, I was not expecting to want to eat the candy. I was not expecting that there was going to be a part of me that didn't want to keep going, that wanted to go backwards. And like I say, it's like every single day on that reset, you're surprised that that self-sabotaging voice comes back, right? Because the night before, you were so convinced that you were going to be different tomorrow, that this was so painful, and you were never going to do this again, and tomorrow is going to be a totally brand new day. And then you wake up, and it's like that voice is there that's like, eat the candy, right? And you suck, and I hate you, and blah, 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 and you're just like, oh, yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I'm just going to eat the candy, right? It's like, I can't believe that voice came back. I was so confident last night, and today the voice came back, so I guess it wasn't real, and I have to just do my self-sabotaging behavior, okay? This is the voice that I'm talking about. It's that voice that, even though you know you want to change, even though you're motivated by the pain of your self-sabotaging behaviors, even though you're motivated and you can see clearly, and maybe you even, so you're either like motivated by the pain of it, or you're motivated by the vision of who you could be. Either way, you're motivated, you know what you want to do, you know where you want to go, you're totally positive, you totally cognitively understand why you need to do what you want to do, you can see how it's going to benefit you, but then the second your self-sabotaging voice comes back, you're surprised that it's there, and you act on it. Okay, so this is where we all get in trouble, okay? Because that self-sabotaging voice, right? That lizard brain, that primitive part of your brain, okay? Its number one job in the shadow is to try to maintain the status quo. And the reason it wants to do that is because when you're in a state of fear, yeah, you want to have control over the situation, right? Meaning you want the situation to stay predictable. Even if the situation is terrible, you want it to stay the same because you know how to handle that, all right? So in this state of fear, which is where this voice is coming from, right? So what this voice is really pointing you to, number one, is that you are in a state of fear, all right? Which most of us don't even recognize that we're in a state of fear. Again, we think this fear voice is just normal, but that's just because we're all in such a state of fear perpetually that now we've all just collectively decided that's normal. That's not normal, and we don't have to be like that. Just because everyone is doing it doesn't mean it's normal, and doesn't mean that we have to live like that for the rest of our lives, and it doesn't mean that your brain is just designed to be like that, okay? So that's what. The lizard brain is letting you know that you're in a state of fear, right? And that it just wants to maintain the status quo because that's what's kept you alive so far. Do you see what I'm saying? The lizard brain says, okay, we're in a state of fear, which means we're in a state of threat, which means as long as we keep things the way that they've always been, which has been the way that I've survived so far, we will continue to survive, right? But what the lizard brain, but what we're not understanding, because we're not truly aware of what we're doing, is that we're attaching our safety and our status quo and this is our predictable thing that we know how to do to our self-sabotaging behaviors, right? So then we get in this nasty, vicious cycle of change is scary because it's not the status quo and we can't predict it, but change is the only thing that's going to take us out of our self-sabotaging behavior. But when we try and do that, because we're in a state of fear, our fear brain comes back and is like, no, go back, just do the thing that you've always done, right? You see, and it's this crazy cycle, right? It's like the thing that would take you out of fear is change, and change is the one thing that your fear doesn't want you to do, right? You see what I'm saying? So this is why the first step in becoming your higher self is becoming fully conscious of this cycle, okay? Becoming conscious of your fear voice, knowing that self-sabotaging voice is going to come up because it wants to keep you in the status quo, because it knows it can survive there. Even though it's self-sabotaging and even though it's not thriving, right? You just didn't immediately die, and therefore that's survival to the fear brain, okay? And so what I'm saying is, we can shift this primal part of your brain from that freaked out survival mode into a completely different way of being, where it leads you in a self-fulfilling way, okay? That fear voice, that lizard voice, won't stay the lizard voice forever, right? When you actually move yourself out of a state of perpetual fear, you will not have the lizard voice. You will have clear cognitive intuition, right? You will want to take good care of yourself. These things are natural. You won't have self-sabotaging behaviors. You won't have things that keep you stuck. You won't be afraid of change. This is going to happen to you, okay? If you learn to love this voice now, okay? So, what you need to realize is that the second you decide you want to change, your fear voice is going to freak out, okay? So stop being surprised when your fear voice comes up. This is the number one thing. It's like every single day is Groundhog Day for us, right? We want to change, we're motivated to change, the self-sabotaging thoughts come back, and we're surprised they're there, and we thought they would never come back again, even though we thought them like exactly the same way yesterday and every day before that, and we're surprised that they come up, and then we say, okay, well, since that thought is there, I must act on it, right? It feels so real, it feels so strong, it feels so true, I've acted on it every other time, so why should this time be different, right? So that's the first thing. When you get a vision of who you want to be, which is your intuition is going to be constantly pulling you to be your higher self, right? Your higher self is constantly pulling you to be higher, right? It's constantly pulling you to a more free, a more happy, a more joyful expression of yourself. It's constantly pulling you to learning by grace and not by fear. It's constantly pulling you. That is the point, right? And so that's why you get these bursts of inspiration that you want to do these new, better things for yourself, right? But when we come from a place of self-sabotage, right, that's when it all gets messed up. So just knowing that you're constantly going to be being pulled, and that's good, right? And so you're going to have the inspiration, you're going to have the part of you that wants to pull you, right? There's going to be the part of you that wants to change, right? And so you engage in that, you imagine, and so this is going to be the next 3 parts of my videos, but I'm just saying, so just know that that part of you that's pulling you is always going to be there, right? And then when the self-sabotaging voice comes along, first step is stop being surprised, right? So as soon as you start saying, okay, I know I want to change and I know I want to make this change, you need to think to yourself, and my self-sabotaging voice is not going to want me to do this, right? My lizard voice is going to tell me all the reasons that this isn't safe and that this isn't okay, and I'm going to tell myself the same story I've been telling myself for a really long time. And I believe it right now, right? But it's keeping me stuck. I have a new awareness now that this lizard voice is just keeping me stuck because it knows how to do this. Not because this is what's best for me, not because it is true what the lizard voice has to say, right? It's just predictable. So you know the voice is going to come up. Stop being surprised that every time you want to change, the voice comes up. Stop being surprised. The voice is going to be there. Okay? You've heard it a million times before. Second thing, you sit, right? Feeling that fear that that lizard voice is bringing up. And I want you to literally imagine it as a lizard in your brain, or as a snake, or as some sort of reptile. And it's flipping out, okay? I want you to think of it as like a little granny snake or lizard that's freaking the fuck out. And I want you to think of it that way because it's going to help to bring down the seriousness of it, because we all are very serious about our lizard brains, right? So think of it as a little tiny granny lizard with like glasses and like a little like doily bun that's just like, don't do this, don't do it. Right? Like think of it like this, okay? And I want you to sit with that lizard. And I want you to imagine yourself holding that lizard in your hand. And I want you to send that lizard gratitude, okay? And I know that this is really esoteric and this is out there, but this is how we handle this, okay? You release your resistance to it by visualizing it as something silly. You hold it in your hands and you love it. Because when you are doing this, when you're doing this action of you're holding the lizard in your hands and you're loving it, you're placing yourself back in a position of power. Okay, that's the magic in this. You are holding yourself as a higher being, right? That instead of the lizard voice being the loudest and biggest part of you, it's now this tiny little part of you that the larger part of you is holding, and you're empowering yourself in that, okay? So instead of letting the lizard voice take over, you see it, you say, okay, yeah, of course you were going to show up, right? I started to try and do my new exercise routine today, and then my self-sabotaging voice that told me that this isn't enough and it's not going to be worth it and I may as well not do it at all since I'm not doing 100%, blah, 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 blah. That voice came up because that voice comes up every single time I do this. So hello, voice. Hello, little granny voice. I know you just want to keep me safe. Because you know how to do the self-sabotaging cycle of I'm not working out and it's causing me problems and I can't do it and what's wrong with me and okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow and I'm going to start the new plan and then I start the new plan and then I fall off the plan and then I beat myself up and da-da-da. I know how to do that cycle. I know how to do that drama cycle, right? So I see you. I knew you were going to come here and I hold you in my hand and I said you love. And then you let the fear voice just say everything it needs to say to you. Be like, just tell me everything. Tell me how scary this is. Tell me how much you don't want to do this. Tell me how not worth it it is. Let the fear voice say everything it needs to say. But again, holding it, right? So not as you, just a little thing that you're holding. You see? You let the fear voice talk, you let the fear voice talk, you let the fear voice talk, and then you're going to say, okay, I'm just going to do it anyways, but just for today. Tomorrow you can come back, you can freak out at me, you can tell me all these same things, I acknowledge you, I see you. But I'm just going to do the new thing just for today, or just for right now. Even if it's just for right now, and in an hour you can come yell at me again. That's fine, right? But you just decide to make the new choice right now. And then you love the one that's scared, right? You give yourself compassion, understanding. Don't get mad at yourself. Don't get impatient with yourself. Don't try and rile yourself up. Just be nice to you. Compassion to the lizard. Compassion to yourself. If you need to take the step that you're going to make to change back a little, do that, right? But do it a little bit anyways, okay? This is the cycle of empowering yourself. This is the cycle of loving that lizard, and eventually that lizard becomes a part of your intuition that is pushing you forward and is not holding you back, okay? Stop being surprised. Know that it's going to come up. Every single time you make a change, try and make a change while you're in a state of fear, which you are in if you have any self-sabotaging behaviors, is going to come up. So stop being surprised. Know it's going to come up, right? Get ahead of it. Yeah, the lizard voice is going to show up, right? I just decided I was going to exercise tomorrow even though I never exercise. My little voice that tells me that I'm not doing enough, blah, 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 is going to come up. I know that. And then when it does, look at it as the granny, lizard, snake, or whatever. Let it yell at you. And then tell it, okay, just for right now, we're just going to move forward. Just a little bit. I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove to you that nothing bad happens. That's all you have to do. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. I love hearing from you. Like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. Find me on Instagram, ally_Perception Trainers, Facebook, Perception Trainers. Join the Patreon. We have meetings 3 times a month. And I will see you in the next video for part 1 of how to become your highest self. How exciting, right? Okay.